Don't let society fool you into thinking that you need to be consistent with your art, because, spoiler alert, you don't. I decided to take a break over the last 1.5 months. I stepped away from doing art, making videos, or creating in general, and it was towards the end of my trip that I refound that spark which has made me want to create art again. Before I left, I considered whether or not I should actually take a break, as it would interrupt my weekly YouTube schedule. It got me thinking as to why we are so obsessed with the idea of consistency and building streaks and keeping up daily habits. There is a really great video by Elizabeth Phillips where she advocates for the idea of not being consistent, and it was so refreshing to finally get the perspective of someone who is, as she puts it, chaotically organized, which is something that I really relate to. There's one point that she mentioned, and that is, do not optimize for consistency, optimize for passion. I thought this particularly pertinent for artists because the best work comes from when you are most passionate about it. Whether you are creating from your own emotions, or you're making a statement about something you care about, or if you're making something for someone that you love. These are artworks which are arguably the most resonant and powerful, and passion can take time to be found and nurtured, and sometimes consistency, routine, or habits can really kill that. Elizabeth's idea of shifting my mindset to passion over consistency really made me feel a lot more secure in the sporadic nature of the way that I create my art. Having said that, I can't ignore the other side to the story, which is consistency can breed inspiration. If you are constantly creating every day, your mind is always primed to be on the lookout for things that you can use in your work, and hence inspiration is more likely to come to you. I feel like optimizing for consistency or for passion are both equally valid arguments, but it just depends where you are in life. I think of it like a seesaw. Sometimes you have to swing one way and sometimes you have to swing the other. It's a balancing act where one solution doesn't always outweigh the other. Think about where you are in life and for what reason you're creating art. Is it personal or is it professional? See whether optimizing for consistency or for passion is better in your situation. For example, when I first started making YouTube videos, it was a lot better for me to optimize for consistency, which is what I've been doing for over a year now, because it allowed me to build my stamina for making videos, but also for me to build an audience. I would caution though that if you decide not to optimize for consistency just because you're feeling lazy, then it's probably not the best way to think about it, and you probably need to be a little bit more honest with yourself. If you do decide to be consistent and fall off the bandwagon, I like to think of it like this. You are consistent in trying to be consistent. When you think about it like that, it doesn't really matter how many times you break your streak. What matters is that you always try to rebuild it again. An example that comes to mind in my life is I say that I've been doing Pilates for the last 10 years when, in fact, I've actually been doing it on and off, but because I've always been trying to do it constantly, I feel like it's something that I have the right to say, and to be honest, it's always better to do it on and off than to not do it at all. Breaks are important to reset and reflect. Just trust that you will eventually find your spark along the way. Don't think about it too much, which is easier said than done, and always think about what your art needs right now. Passion or consistency.